FM, and of course, I'm Moses Mpundu. I'm glad to have been joined in by Danny Muyansalu, right on Brand In at Money on 93.7 Money FM. Danny, you're welcome.
Thank you, Moses. Thank you. How have you been?
No, I've been great. How have you been?
I'm good. I'm good.
Okay, you don't seem to be good, Danny. Is it cold?
uh, right now, no, it's not. It's not.
Okay,
It's not
great.
cold.
So if you're just
Mm.
tuning in, it is Brand In at Money on 93.7 Money FM. And of course, we are always right here to give you anything that you'd want to get, especially in the area of branding. So you get to be part of everything around your business each and every day. So in a series of conversations that do come in, especially where 93.7 Money FM is concerned, on today's conversation, we have something that is very interesting, and of course you'd want to at least get the best out of it as we go get into, of course, the conversation. So remember, it is brand in at money with Yamfumu, right on 93.7. So the topic: the power of a strong brand identity, why logo design matters for business success. You need to, so do you. And of course, it is right here on 93.7 Money FM. I'm looking at the topic of course, our conversation today, Danny, is quite interesting, and I would love to hear from you. Before you obviously come in, you can follow obviously the proceedings as well right on Facebook, the Money FM Facebook page. All you have to do is check out the Money FM Facebook page. It is Money FM Zambia. And of course, do like the page and of course be part of the conversation. You can leave your comment as well. Tentatively, you can do the same right on the website altogether. So, Danny, quite a good conversation that we have and a lovely topic that we have on today. What do you have to say, especially when we talk about the power of a strong brand identity and why obviously logo design matters for a business success altogether? So, what do you have to say about that, Danny?
Okay, Moses. So I would like to start by defining what a brand is. So we need to understand that uh, a brand is a gut feeling that people have towards your company. So if uh, there is nothing like that, then you just have a business or a company. You don't have a brand. And then, secondly, brand identity is how people see and recognize your brand. So, of course, we have things that we use to identify brands like logos, right? Which is like the main topic of our discussion today. So, what is the logo then? So, a logo is just a visual identification of a company or organization. So when we understand that, then now we uh, are going to understand the whole thing of why it matters for business success. So a logo being a visual identification of your business or organization, we need to look at uh, key points on what makes up a good logo, right? Uh, so the first thing I would like to say about what makes up a good logo is a logo has to be appropriate, right? A logo
Yeah.
doesn't have to say very much. In fact, it is better when a logo just says a few things about your company, you see, because its purpose is for identification and nothing else.
Mhm.
So it needs to be appropriate. The next thing is uh, it has to be simple. So many times, my clients, when a client comes to me and they say, "Oh, I want a logo designed for my company or organization," they think that a logo is a promotional asset, and that's the mistake.
Mhm.
So a logo is used for identification, not for promotion. You see, that's where people miss it. So what do I mean? A logo shouldn't. I can give an example where you are in real estate, right? It doesn't mean your logo has to have a house or on it. No, it doesn't have to have a house. You have a radio station, doesn't mean your logo has to have a radio icon or whatever, or a radio picture. No, that's wrong. So a logo, it's even better when a logo says less about your company. But what happens is this, because I know people might get worried. Then how are people going to know if uh, they see the logo, and how are they going to know if this is our logo now? So it's a process. It's a process of branding. That's why we're talking about brand identity and everything. So it's a process. So the more you use, sorry, how you use your logo is that determines how many people are going to recognize your logo, right? So um, you can have a logo, like maybe I can give an example of maybe Money FM, right?
Yeah.
Because of everything that you publish and how you use the logo, people are now able to identify that this is Money FM logo, not that it has a radio
Mm.
in it. And I think that's where people miss it.
Okay, interesting. So if you're just joining in, it is Brand In at Money with Yamfumu, right on 93.7 Money FM, and I'm in conversation with Danny Muyansalu. He is a branding coach. And of course, our conversation is quite an interesting conversation that we have on today. So if you're pairing yourself and of course wanting to go into business, then definitely this is where you get every bit of the conversation that you'd want to be part of. So remember, the Conversation as well is live on Facebook, the Money FM Facebook page. All you have to do is check out the Money FM Facebook page. It is Money FM's get online page and, of course, be part of the conversation. The topic is the power of a strong brand identity, why logo design matters for business success. So obviously, this is quite interesting, and of course, could be better that you get to grasp everything. Now, you talked about a logo not to obviously uh, say much about a business. In this sense, I'm thinking, then how is the identity part coming in? What is the identity part? And of course, how is it just showcased around the logo itself? I want to see a logo, and of course, I want to know about the business. Is there anything like that?
Uh, I think I didn't get how you phrased the question. Can you just
Okay,
try and rephrase it a bit?
let me say it this way. I want when I see the logo of Money FM, I know that okay, this is Money FM, and Money FM could be obviously about this that thing that Money FM does. Obviously, should
Mm.
just hit my mind there and then. Uh, in all words, you say it shouldn't say much. Then what does the logo express by the end of the day?
So we need to understand to say a logo is a mark that does
Mhm,
what? That identifies you. So we have a face, and when people see me, they know this is Danny.
mhm,
You see, and then they know this is Danny because they know who I am.
mhm,
You see, so what do I mean by that? A logo should be simple and it shouldn't say much. But what is a key feature that it's supposed to have? When someone sees it for the first time, they should be able to explain to explain it to someone. You know, say, okay, uh, Money FM's logo is like this, and they can even manage to just do a sketch of it. Then you know that you have a good logo, and you know that people can easily identify you. You see,
mhm,
so once a logo should be in a way that once someone sees it, they don't forget it. It's not too complicated that they will forget it. So now what are you doing? You are attaching the name of your company, or what are the values and everything about your company to the mark now. So
mhm,
we need to understand this. So you need to uh, uh, make sure that the mark and the values of the company get attached to each other in the process of branding. Because without that, then people will just be seeing your logo and they won't know what you do. So it all depends on branding. So
Mhm.
when I see the Money FM logo, I know it because I know what Money FM does, not because the logo says what Money FM does. I think I don't know if you get it. So the
Yeah.
logo doesn't say what Money FM does, but once I see the logo and I know to say this logo is for Money FM, automatically in my mind it ticks
Mhm.
to say Money FM does this and this and this because they have managed to marry the two. So when I see the logo, automatically I know what Money FM does. So if they have managed to do that well and good.
Mhm. Okay, interesting. So, the other aspect is, let's just bring it close to a business as well. What should the business consider, especially when they are putting up a logo? What should they look at, especially what would give an expression around the logo itself? How should it be designed?
Okay, so we all know that a logo has to send a message to the people that sees it. It needs to incorporate your values and everything, but not all the time, right? Because I was
Mhm.
just from saying the logo has to be simple and it shouldn't even say much.
Mhm.
So I think businesses with designing the logo, they need to uh, actually consider having a face which is different from others, you know, uh, because that will enable them to, differentiate themselves from from other people or competitors in the industry. So they should look for a mark that will identify them, um, and the logo doesn't have to be the same with others. Um,
Mhm.
sorry, I'm thinking a lot, so you pardon me on that. So the logo is an identity. I've said this, and then how should it be designed? Is it has to be different from others, like from everyone. Yeah,
Mhm.
when you design a logo, you need to be sure that this is different from, this is new. Like no one has done this before. Because once you imagine I create a logo like Money FM, then how are people going to be differentiating between Money FM and me? Then also people need to consider the colors because colors send emotions and colors have meaning. Uh, you know, you can't just use red, blue, black anywhere. You need to consider the industry you are in and what message are you trying to send to the audience out there. For example, blue, I'm sure you have seen it being used by banks and
Mhm.
uh, these people who are in the finance industry because and gray are good colors. I'm sorry. Give the call. Can you get me?
Okay, I'm able to get you.
Okay. So blue
Mhm.
and gray are colors that are mostly used in financial institutions. Why? Because they send a message to say blue and gray means, you know, people can trust them. You see, red, of course, uh, red is the color which actually makes you have appetite for something, and then you have seen it being used by many fast food businesses, right? So you need to consider that
Yeah.
also. Then also the font you use. The font you use. I think I had this problem with one client. Uh, they were stuck to a certain font that uh, can be used in modern days. You see,
Mhm.
so even fonts actually help you send a message out there. It's not just any font that you can choose, but there are fonts that, if you have seen, they're used mostly in luxury brands, And I'm sure you think, why do they use serif fonts all the time? Because actually brands are known for using serif fonts. They just change this one we use this serif font and the other one we use this. So that also matters. You can't use a serif font if you're in a serious business like you have a bank. That would make sense. So you need to consider that also. So you need to consider colors, how your mark is. Will someone master it just seeing it once or twice? Will they be able to remember it and even be able to sketch it? The colors also, are the colors sending that message that is needed for you know for the right for our values or the message we're sending to people? So we need to consider all these things, all these simple things that people might be forgetting.
Okay, interesting. And of course, time is not the best ally here, Danny, but definitely great conversation right on 93.7 Money FM. So if you're just joining in, welcome on board. And of course, I'm in conversation with Danny Muyansalu, a branding coach on, of course, branding at Money. And should say an interesting conversation that surrounds in the area of your logos and of course in the area of your business as well if you want your business to be successful each and every day. So it's branding at money with Yamfumu right on 93.7. Last but not the least, Danny, let me get your concluding remarks, especially on the power of strong brand identity, why a logo design matters, especially why it's a business success is crucial. What would be your concluding remarks on today's conversation on branding at money with Yamfumu?
Okay, so my last words will be, first thing I said, a logo shouldn't say much, but what
Mhm.
will make people identify your company with your logo is how you use it. So use it consistently in all marketing materials, your website, and everywhere. Then people will know, you know, then people will know to say, okay, this logo is for this company, and this company stands for this. So it is the consistency of how you use the logo, and that is what determines how people will see your logo or will identify you. So you shouldn't say much, but how you use it will make it, you know, will, will make people marry the two between your company uh, and your logo, and that is the most important thing. So you use your logo consistently, and make sure you have a brand guideline book which guides everyone who uses your logo on how to use it.
Mhm.
And yes, and that's it.
Thank you very much, Danny, for making time to be part of the conversation right on branding at money with Yamfumu.
Moses, thank you for your time.
Yes, indeed. So that's Danny there. And of course, the conversation right on 93.7 Money FM each and every day could be one of the rarest time that you have. And thanks very much for making time to be part of the conversation right on, of course, branding at Money with Young Fumu on 93.7. This is 93.7. Keep it locked to money and do not touch that dial.